Blake Hayes, student number HAS 1700 and
Kyle Winter, Win 16003628.
Part 2 of our sports injuries assignment. This is the second athlete which we will be helping on his road to recovery. Here is a biography and a summary of the athlete we're going to be helping. Birkin Gunders, who is an 100-metre sprinter, who has high to very high fitness levels, age 22, weighing in at 134 kilograms, standing at 188 centimetres tall. As a result of poor form, Birkin has suffered injury. The ankle joint, formed by the tibia, fibula and talus, playing a role to limit the joint movement. The anterior talofibula attaches to the fibula in the area which has become injured during his sporting performance. A sprained ankle occurred in the form and is an inversion of the foot at a grade 2 strain. This injury occurred as Birkin became over-aroused, losing focus, racing out of the blocks awkwardly, shifting his weight onto his poorly positioned, which was an introverted ankle. This caused the ankle ligaments to be overexerted and ultimately sprained, causing pain and discomfort. The introverted foot caused a lateral ligament to stretch when put under pressure. Birkin's road to recovery. The immediate response was to put pressure onto the injured area to keep everything in place and stop any damaged ligaments or bones going out of where they should be, causing further damage. Rest straight away, making sure that he has no pressure put on that and is assisted getting off of the track, allowing the other athletes to continue and not putting any pressure onto it. Ice. This is to reduce the blood flow as the vessels constrict, reducing the swelling as the blood vessels will vasoconstrict, taking them away from the skin surface, so there will be less blood flow going to the injured area, meaning that ultimately the long-term effects of the injury can be reduced within these opening moments by reducing the swelling. Compression. Similar to pressure, just having everything there compact, whether that be through the use of bandages, tape, or another person simply pushing down on it, keeping everything where it should be, stopping further damage from occurring. Elevation, getting the affected area up elevated as it would suggest, having the blood flow again restricted to the area, reducing the effects of swelling and ultimately the long-term harmfulness of this. Diagnosis, getting a professional to actually say what the problem is for Birkin and how long he's going to be out so he knows the next steps to take. This Price method would be very useful to him in the first stages. The step ladder approach. This here is the process after an injury to overcome the challenges it poses and get the injured body part back to full mobility, getting the athlete back into his training regime. It provides psychological reassurance in the injury when they are returning to their sport, as if the athlete knows that each stage has been fully completed successfully, they will have every confidence that they're not going to be injured again, as they know that the proper technique and procedure has been followed, meaning that they know everything is as it should be, and they know that they are back to full strength and capabilities before they're put back out on the field, so they will then play better, as they will not have the psychological effect of not playing well or not doing certain movements thinking the injury could get worse. The way this happens is through going through each stage of rest, strengthening, stretching and function, and only progressing to the next stage after a period of roughly 2 weeks when the previous stage has been completed and everyone, including the athlete, is satisfied they're ready to move on. Rest. The first 3 days you should continue with ice and keep compressed to reduce bruising and swelling using a compressing bandage 2 to 3 times daily, keeping it on for about half an hour per time. This is to keep everything in place and, as we've said before, reducing the swelling and bruising, which would cause the injury to worsen and increase his time on the sideline. Within 4 to 6 weeks, this is because it's a grade 2 and it is, unfortunately, as much as we would like it to be, he cannot get straight back out on the field. With a grade 2 severity injury, there is a 4 to 6 week time period where he will be out of action, and the stretched ligament should ease of pain after this time period, allowing regular movement again. If a few small stretches at this stage can't be done without severe pain, further medical assistance needs to be sought. Using tape and bandages for the first 2 week period daily to hold the injured joint in place is crucial at this stage, enabling, as we had with the initial Price method, making sure everything stays in check, nothing moves out of place, which would make the injury worse, and through use of tape holding everything in that spot, it's going to enable everything stays nice and tight where it should be, and the body can begin to heal itself in the correct position. Stretching, here we are. So we need to work on stretching and focusing on eccentric contractions using the towel stretch. Image shown here, showing that you grip either side of a small towel with each hand and placing the towel on the ball of the foot, then pushing away the foot and pulling towards with your arms, creating a contraction with the ankle being pulled in that direction, which will build up its resilience. Along with this, we also will begin to trace the alphabet with your feet by standing up fully or sitting on a chair, and then using your toes to trace the alphabet on a small scale to get the ankle used to rotating, moving, and being pushed out of its almost comfort zone in a way. And we will gradually progress this. The stretches should be held for about 10 seconds each and done 3 times daily. Strengthening being the next process. Calf raises are crucial to this, where you stand on both feet and then lift your heels from the ground and end up standing on your tiptoes. You should aim for about 10 repetitions, then have a break and do this 3 times, followed by a further 10 repetitions, etc. Do this once a day after the initial 2 weeks into the strengthening period to increase the strength of the ankle. And this will happen because then it is back in the weight bearing phase where your body weight is on it, and it will need to then not only have the stretching process involved as you go up onto the tiptoes, but also be under the stress of the body weight. Using a wobble board also is a brilliant way to get the ankle going. As for your balance, you need to have both ankles placed evenly one side of the base of the wobble board, meaning that the ankles are put under strain and different pressures allocated at different times. This is done for as long as the athlete is done feeling comfortable, and when they fall off they can simply step off to avoid further injury. It's good because the ankle will twist and turn and will be put under different levels of strength, but it's still under the client's control, meaning he is not pushed out of a comfort zone, worsening the injury. Also using balance, standing on the injured leg with the arms out and the uninjured leg placed across the calf of the standing leg. This will get it put under weight pressure whilst not being stretched, but body pressure for period, aiming for 60 seconds. Just do this once or twice daily to gradually build up, having the entire body weight on the injured ankle. It's done to limit movements. They can focus purely on strengthening at this time and becoming stronger. Function, we are at the final stage here. The purpose of this is to mimic the performance movements, to test the ligaments and get them back used to working under pressure in a form of intensity closely related to their sporting movements. A brilliant way to start off is just to jog at about 50% intensity in a straight line. To begin with, just doing this 3 times a day, just to get the athlete used to jogging up and down. The whole body will have been out of action for a while, so even the fitness levels will be lower. So just getting him running again, actually performing the movement, one foot in front of the other, getting him as he would on the rugby field, just doing it slowly so he's not putting himself under large amounts of pressure unnecessarily, which could result in the injury getting worse. But through the use of jogging in a straight line, it just gets him performing a motion of that he would be doing in a rugby game, and he could not have been doing a couple of weeks ago, showing him he is improving and he's almost back out on the field, giving him encouragement to keep on going. The Illinois agility test, only perform this at 50% to begin with. We don't want him to go in and overexert himself and work too hard straight away. An image can be seen on the right hand side of the screen here showing the test. This will be done to test the agility because his ankle will be twisting, turning and working throughout the entire duration of doing this run. It's really important because then the ligaments will stretch and turn, which of course is what caused this injury in the first place, but they need to stretch and turn for him to get out on the field. So this Illinois agility test gives us a final really clear indication of where he's at and how much longer it'll be till he's back into the game. Through needing to twist and turn to get out of this. Doing it at 50% means he can do it at a pace where he's comfortable, where he's not pushing himself, and this intensity will gradually be increased as he twists through the run. Also the weight bearing, and it just puts everything into practice, almost ready to get back on the rugby field as he would be running in such a style out on the pitch. Finally, we had some questions where we asked Birkin how useful our programme was to him and whether there's anything we can improve in the future. Did you understand the injury? He said yes, which was a positive, as he then knew what was the issue, explained by myself and Kyle Winter, so he knew what he needed to get done and why it was important. He stuck to the plan. Did he find the rehab enjoyable? The answer to this was no, in all honesty, which is much appreciated. So what we can do is increase and have a wider variety of stretches and strengthening activities available, so when he gets bored and it becomes repetitive doing the same 2 or 3 over, we can mix things up, and it's whilst also improving the strength and stretching during the step ladder approach, having different activities, keeping him engaged and fully focused. Did you feel comfortable in the process? He said yes, which was brilliant under the watching eye of us supervising him and knowing that he wasn't pushed too hard, both physically and physiologically. His body was comfortable and his mind was comfortable, which is really important as well. Did you meet the time of recovery sooner than expected? Now, the answer here was no. With respect to that, there are, of course, certain deadlines where with an injury such as this, there's only so much you can do to get an athlete back as soon as possible. A recovery takes as long as recovery takes, you can't rush it. However, one thing we could do to improve this is when he is reaching targets, we can progress him on slightly quicker, although each period of the stepladder approach should be about 2 weeks. If he's hitting those targets and progressing at a really fast rate, we can cut down those 2 weeks and move him on to the next stage a bit faster, getting him back on the field as soon as possible, whilst risking not to do it too soon to worsen the injury. Did this benefit you physiologically? He said yes, he completely agreed that it did, and it got him back out onto the field feeling good and playing back where he wants to be. Did this enable you to perform confidently again? He said yes, because he had faith in the rehabilitation process and knew that his injury was now past him and that he could work to his full intensity and perform to the best of his ability yet again, so that's really good to hear. Did the session increase your knowledge on the injury? He said yes, this was good because we educated him on the injury, the cause of it, and why he needed to do certain procedures in the recovery process. This is good because it kept him engaged, allowing him to reap the benefits because he knew it was important why he was doing it, so he did it to the best of his ability. Are you going to carry on with this program? Again, he said yes, which was great to hear because it will allow him to get better and better and build up that ankle strength further and further, and he'll soon be back to 100% fully fit and back out on that rugby field where we want our clients to be enjoying themselves. Thank you.